Alright, so I gotta start off by saying two things. First, the random Jeopardy music that starts playing has to do with the fact that I dragged out a question for over a minute, and I'm sorry to you guys, but mostly I'm sorry to Sarah for having to sit through that. The second thing is that this is going to be the last episode of What Makes You Happy for a while. I'm currently working on 2 bonus episodes at the moment, and we have a series in the works. So if you're looking for updates, you can go to Instagram or Facebook if you happen to be one of the old people who's watching this. Now, unlike The Rise of Skywalker, this is going to be the last episode of a trilogy that's actually worth watching. This week I got to sit down with Sarah Dedrick, who Kale and I both met at Augustana. And my favorite thing about Dedrick is her overwhelming positivity, because it gets to the point where it's like too much sometimes. But that's a great trait to have. So a little bit about Sarah. She was raised in St. Albert. She's currently in year 5 of 6 of a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology and Kinesiology. She was the 2017 Edmonton Metro All-Star Basketball Showcase nominee for SACCHS. She's been a member of the Augustana Women's volleyball team from 2017 to the present day, and they're currently ranked 15th in the nation as of this recording. She was a 2019 and 20 Academic All-Canadian. She was also the 2019 and 20 ACAC All Conference setter, and now she's averaging 16 minutes on a .330 hitting percentage and 8.7 assists per set as of this recording. And I had to look those stats up and what they meant because volleyball statistics don't make any sense. But anyways, Sarah is basically one of the boys. She lived, worked, and lifted with us for 4 months during the second quarantine, and it was awesome. And it's been a blessing to watch her grow and work on the court for the last 4 years. So Sarah, thank you from Kale and I for sitting down and sharing your insights with us and the world. And for those of you listening, I hope you guys enjoy this episode of What Makes You Happy. I'm back. I just recorded with Tyler, so you don't, there has not been very much time. If I forget things to say, Dedrick is here, but Dedrick's super nervous for no reason, because we're just hanging out, man, and the people are definitely very excited. You know?
I'm excited too.
Okay, so a couple of things. I promise I'm not going to embarrass you too much.
Thank you.
I promise I'm not going to bully you online for people to see for years to come.
Thank you.
That's not true at all. And yeah, all right. So, a little bit of background about me and Dedrick. Dedrick got here to Augustana a year before the big recruiting class that had me and Nick and Tyler in it. So she is a veteran to our juvenile delinquency.
Okay, I'm only 1 year older.
Okay, but 1 year of very, very important life. You knew
It's
how
true.
Camrose worked by the time we got here.
Yeah.
We had no clue. So after that, Dedrick became one of the most vital people to getting through the Camrose experience, at least for me, because you were just always around, you know? So, Dedrick, you are in year 5 of 6
Yeah.
right now.
Yes.
That is not normal, but it is super awesome because Dedrick has been playing volleyball for 5 consecutive years at Augustana, and the 6th one is coming up in 2023. You're currently studying what?
I'm done my kinesiology major and I'm just finishing my psychology major right now.
So you're going to be leaving here with 2 pieces of paper, or is it a double major,
it's just
one
a
degree?
double major, one
Okay,
degree. I
okay.
wish it was 2 pieces of paper. That would have been cooler, but it's fine.
It would have been cooler, but it also probably would have been harder and more expensive.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think we're all good here. But outside of school, Dedrick has a cat named Chickpea who she loves
So
dearly,
much.
dearly. Her family is in St. Albert, and they're always been involved with sports. Like John, her dad, is the coach of the women's basketball team, so he has been around for a large portion of our time here. And I met Dedrick through Jaron, but the same way with Tyler and Nick, it was just an outlet. You know, you became one of the most important people to me very quickly. So I'm glad you're here, Sarah.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem, brother. All right, so couple of questions to start you off.
Okay.
Dedrick, like I said, you were born in St. Albert.
Mm-hmm.
You played basketball and volleyball growing up. Was
Yes.
there any other sports?
I did running and elementary and junior high. But,
Okay.
and soccer. I really liked soccer growing
Right,
up. But
right.
once I got to high school, I really only had time for basketball and volleyball.
Okay.
And that was still like 2 practices a day. So
It was a lot.
Yeah, very time consuming.
Yes. So Dedrick was, and this isn't a situation where she was like playing one sport and was only good at one sport. Like Dedrick was a very good volleyball player, obviously, because she's here. But she was also a very good basketball player. From my notes, Dedrick was the 2017 selection for the All-Star Basketball Showcase in Edmonton, which is huge.
Did you do your research on it?
I did my research on
Googled
you
my name.
and on Nick and on Tyler. And I DM'd Josh, Nick's brother, Trevor, Tyler's brother, and your sister.
You DM my sister.
And the only person who answered me was Trevor, so I'm not happy. I'm
not surprised that Emily didn't reply.
No, neither am I, but I'm not happy about it because, Emily, this could have been 100 times better. You just needed to help me out a little bit. But it's cool. It's cool. Dedrick, that transition from St. Albert to Camrose is when you stopped playing basketball.
Yeah.
Did you have trouble with that? Because basketball was a big part of your life.
Yeah, it was difficult. Honestly, I find it more difficult now that I've been out of basketball for so long because I love the sport of basketball, but I hate playing and competing in basketball.
Fair enough.
Like, I love playing if I can just go out there and have fun, but honestly, having my dad be like a basketball coach and coach me for my entire life made the sport hard for me because I always expected myself to be perfect no matter what.
Right.
So then every time I try and compete, I needed to be perfect, so it took all of the fun out of the sport. And like that's I love my dad obviously, and he's an amazing coach. It just he's not a good coach for me because he yells a lot, and I don't really like being yelled at.
Yes, that's so funny.
So yeah, I miss basketball more now that I've been out of it, and I kind of forgot why I didn't go and play basketball out of it or right out of high school. So like honestly, like if I could play on the women's team now, I probably would, but you can't be a multi-sport athlete in college, sadly.
No. But the game that we get to play at the end of the year, the
crossover game?
Yeah, the crossover
highlight
game.
of my year.
Exactly. That's where Dedrick gets to put all of her skills on display.
True. And then we play horse.
Exactly. How has your experience been so far with Augustana, Dedrick? Did you really enjoy your time here so far?
Yeah, I absolutely love Augustana. It was just really refreshing moving from like St. Albert, a bigger city, to a smaller city. And of course I miss the big city, and like I'm really excited to go back after I'm done. But Augustana is just, it's such a great group of athletes and people here, and everyone is just so nice and welcoming, and I don't know, I wouldn't have regretted coming here for 1 second. Like I've enjoyed every single year I've had here, no matter what has gone on during it. I've just loved every second of it.
That's good. Honestly, as you can see, Dedrick is a very, very positive person. And I'm sure there were some times that were tough, but the thing about Augustana is you don't remember them because we have so much fun.
Exactly.
All the time. Okay, so Dedrick, if you are ready, we're going to get into the first question.
Okay, I'm ready. Let me pull out my notes app.
That is okay. Dedrick is really prepared. I really appreciate this because Dedrick and Allison were both super nervous, and you both came with your little notebooks, and it's just going to be such a good episode. When it comes to your physical health, your spiritual health, and your mental health, you can choose all three. You can answer just one of them. What makes you happy, Dedrick?
What makes me happy? Okay. I wrote stuff for all three of them. Now I'm getting even more nervous.
Guys, you're making Sarah nervous. Stop.
Okay, so for my mental health, the main thing that makes me happy is just being around people.
Okay.
Because I'm a very social person. I get a lot of my energy by being with my friends, being around others, and just being in the presence of others and being able to joke around, like listen to them, watch other people get excited with them.
Yeah,
it just
exactly.
Makes me so happy. So that's the biggest one for my mental health. For my spiritual health, I'm not a very spiritual person.
Okay.
I'm trying to be more spiritual, so that's kind of a journey I'm working on right now, but the main thing is just mindfulness, I think.
Right.
Is something that like brings me a lot of joy, just being able to just be mindful of myself, my surroundings, and all that. And yeah, that's something, like I said, I'm just at the beginning of my journey. So I started working on that like a few months ago. So it hasn't gone too far yet, but it's an important one. And obviously, since I've been an athlete my entire life, for my physical health, being active makes me happy too. And playing volleyball, and I don't know, I guess that's a social aspect of it too. Like playing volleyball and being with my teammates and getting to see them all the time. It's yeah.
So the first one, being a social person, like, it's great, especially in a community like Camrose, because there's 1,000 kids at the school, you know, like, you get to know everybody pretty well, or at least as well as you want to, and you always have opportunities to be doing stuff. Have you found the fact that you are such a social person, there's sometimes that you're willing to give up time that you should be putting into studying to go hang out with people, or are you pretty good in controlling yourself with that?
That's a hard question, because I am not good at controlling myself, and I will 100% go out and go see people rather than studying. But I haven't really faced any consequences of that yet. So.
Okay.
So I think I've always made the best decision.
I think I agree, to be honest. And I'm not saying Dedrick is advising you guys to do the same thing, because she's clearly a different beast, you know. Normal people probably couldn't make these decisions and be okay, but Dedrick, she's just the best, apparently.
What can I say?
Okay, so then when it comes to your mindfulness journey, I assume that Aya and Alana have probably been a very, very big part of that, or at least introducing you to the subject, because I know they are very nature-driven people, and I know that when you spend your time with them, and Ray as well, you guys like to spend a lot of time outside. So have you found that having those friends that are also very interested in that whole mindfulness aspect has helped get you into finding whatever part of spirituality you belong to?
Yeah, 100%. It's nice to have like a lot of different friends with different opinions on it. So like, yeah, Aya, Lana, and Ray are all like being outdoors, being mindful out there and stuff like that. But one person who's made a big impact on it is actually Kyle.
Okay.
He's so spiritual and always has the best advice for me. And he always has like some new idea, or he'll send me a cool meditation that he did and be like, you gotta try this. Like, it made my day so much better.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and yeah, Kyle's been such a good help in this journey, because he's also going through it, and he knows how hard it is to start sometimes, and like, yeah, he's been a great influence to help me figure out what works for me. Yeah. And it's not always what works for him, so it's fun to get the alternating opinions.
So, since we're speaking on Kyle Tatton, by the way, I love this guy. He is awesome. He, when the last trainer graduated from Augustana, he started training the men's team, and I'm not a part of the program anymore, but talking to my friends, I know Kyle has gone above and beyond the opportunity that he has been given. And just like Sarah has said, like, there's good people here, and he is definitely one of them. But having him around, do you think that it's a situation where you may not have started exploring if it hadn't been brought to you by somebody that you enjoy and somebody that you trust, as opposed to just coming across it on your own? Because it's, I don't know, it seems like over the last couple of years, you've been really focused on the moment, which is really, really different than me, at least, because as an anxious person, like, I'm usually thinking about 3, 4, 5 different things way in the future or way in the past. But whenever we're looking to do something, Dedrick is like, what can we do right now to have as much fun as possible? So did, like, having Kyle around, do you think without that probably it wouldn't have happened? Or at least not the way it did?
Let me think about this one for a second. I think it still would have happened. I just think I would have done it differently. Because there's some there's some parts about it where, like, I think it was more myself knowing what I needed. Right. And, like, I was going to touch on it more, because you're asking a question about what to do on bad days, right? I'll touch on it more then. But, like, so some parts of it, I know that I would have figured out myself, because it's what I need. But other parts, like meditation, I don't really like meditation that much, and I never really have, just because like I am really prone to like just thinking and being in my head, especially when I'm just sitting there with my thoughts. So like him sending me the meditations he likes, him telling me how he meditates and stuff like that is helpful to get advice on how to do it right. Rather than me just trying myself and like pulling up a random YouTube video and then being like, okay, well this sucks, I did it for 2 minutes, I don't want to do this anymore.
So then I am hearing that you like having guides when it comes to just stuff in general.
Yeah, I love learning from other people.
There you go. People just to dip your toes in, and then eventually Dedrick becomes a professional. She's like, no, sorry. Especially like the wine making, bro. We were going to touch on that later, but I would like to talk about that now. When we were in school here, this basement was a distillery. They were making beer. They were making wine. They were making schnapps. The schnapps wasn't very good. I'm not going to lie.
I still have a bottle in my room right now. It's about 2 years old, and I am not touching that up.
Oh, it's so funny. But also, I know that you do enjoy cooking and baking with your roommate, so I'm just like... Is that mainly the social thing, or do you really find peace and quiet in that whole act of cooking, of making drinks, of creating something, you know?
I like to think that I'm a creative person. So.
I agree.
So I do think that I get...
Sorry, what was your question?
To be fair, this isn't her fault. I like to talk around things. Okay.
I just want to make sure I answer it.
That's okay. Do you think that because you like to cook and you were making wine for a while, the act of like producing things is something that gives you peace? You know, I can say I'm Sarah Dedrick and this is something I brought into the world.
I'd say it gives me more joy than peace.
Okay.
Like I'm a big stress baker.
Right.
So that gives me peace for sure, because I also like eating my feelings, so that I can like make a bunch of cookies and eat all of them. Yeah. But like other things like cooking, it's more baking and making wine, I think, and just like having something like to show from it, you know? So it definitely brings me joy.
That's good. As you've probably already learned, Sarah's super positive. And Sarah probably does not like to spend a lot of time thinking about how this is one of the worst days. But when those do show up, what is a part of that process to get you through it?
So what I was going to say about being mindful is, like you said, I'm a very positive person. And a lot of where that comes from is I like to live by the mentality to just fake it till I make it.
Right.
But... recently something I realized is that that's not always the best thing to do, especially on those bad days. So like I can smile through it, but like that's not changing that my day is still bad. It's just people don't know that it's bad.
Right.
So one of the things that I've been trying to be more mindful about is just letting myself feel the negative feelings when they come, rather than just trying to ignore them. So when it does happen, I find that one thing that really helps me is just like being able to release the negative feelings into the universe. Okay. So whether like writing it down into a journal, I hate journaling, so I don't normally do that, but I rather to like just tell a friend and talk to someone about it, and just saying it and saying how you're feeling makes so much of a difference. Right. Because in so many situations, the bad days I'm having is just because I'm spiraling in my own head. And then you say it out loud and you're like, okay, that's kind of stupid. Like, that's not actually something I should be worrying about. So... and I'm really lucky to have such a great support system that's always there for me no matter when I'm going to text or call. So, yeah, I'm really lucky in that way. And but yeah, that's how I get through my bad days. Oh, I also like to just try and reset. So, like, I like to live by the mindset that if just because you have a bad morning doesn't mean you have to have a bad rest of your day. Right. So, like, just... what I usually try and do is just take some time to myself, so like nap or like play some Animal Crossing, do what you gotta do.
The Nintendo Switch, man, we definitely have to talk about that.
But yeah, just being able to take the time and reset and then go out of it like it's a brand new day has definitely helped me.
Well, it's good to hear, especially because you make 1,000 decisions every day as a person, you know. The more you're willing to accept the fact that it's like, hey, I'm feeling pretty shitty right now, I'm going to tell you that, we can bond over it a little bit and then find a way to make the day better, is much more productive than just letting that weigh on you. Because it makes those 1,000 decisions you have to make, even the little ones, seem impossible, right? So it's good to see that growth is happening, just in the people that I care about. You know, like, everybody is at a different stage in their lives right now, and, you know, we've been here for a very long time, and Camrose doesn't change much. The demographic changes, the people change, and that's the most important part, but it's still 5 years in the same place, you know? So
sometimes 6.
Yeah, sometimes 6. And when we take 6, we support them, and we love them, because it's awesome. Oh, God. Leap year after leap year. Okay, Ray started it, maybe not playing, but to coach, and Dedrick is following in her footsteps. So once you get here, man, you never leave.
I will leave eventually.
No,
I can tell you that.
never leave. You never leave.
I will be leaving.
Dedrick is Captain Camrose. She
No.
will be here for...
I'm not taking that name. Don't call me that.
Oh, okay. Can I ask you a couple of questions about your time in Camrose?
Sure.
Okay, so in 2019 and 20, the last full competition year that we had, Dedrick was nominated to the ACAC All Conference team for volleyball, and you were an academic All-Canadian. Now, everybody has to realize, if you're at Augustana, you're smart, okay? But not all of us are Tyler, you know? We don't fall asleep in the back of the classroom and get A's. So I know that has been a lot of work for you, Dedrick, especially being able to keep your academics up while being one of the most elite volleyball players in the league. And that's not even gas. Like, she got awarded for it, so leave me alone. In that time, like, did you find it was very, very difficult to decide whether or not you had to pick extra time to get better at volleyball, or pick extra time to make sure you're getting all your classes dealt with? Or was it just something that you found a way to deal with?
I'm pretty good at time management just because I've been doing it for so long. So it's not something I really think about, but there's definitely like sacrifices I had to make. So that year in particular, I was taking like the phys classes, which is one of the hardest classes that a kinesiology student needs to take. And I think it was phys 2 that I was in.
Believe.
Yeah, in the second semester. And yeah, I remember I was at the volleyball provincial banquet, like dressed up, sitting at a table by myself with my phys flashcards out because I had a midterm the Tuesday that we got back from provincials that I needed to study for. And then like put them back in my purse, went out there and just got the volleyball award. So
Thank you, my name's Sarah. I have to go study. Have a nice night. That's super funny.
So it's like sacrifices like that I didn't really mind making, just because I do hold myself to a high standard academically as well. But I mean, apparently I'll do that, but I'll hang out with anyone if you ask me. So.
That's okay. That is okay, though, Dedrick, because being a welcoming human being is, like, that's nothing but a good thing, you know, that services you, because people are willing to approach you, and you said you're a social person, so you need connections.
Exactly,
you know?
exactly. So, yeah, I think volleyball and academics really went hand in hand. I also, for volleyball, my mindset is I don't want to over practice.
Right.
So I don't really put the extra work in.
Right.
Because I think if I just put 2 hours of practice is already a lot. I don't need to do more.
Right.
So.
Right. Okay, that's wired. No. I don't disagree with you sometimes. Sometimes I do disagree with you most of the time. Not gonna lie. But in your particular circumstance, I can't, because your work, it's not like you don't put in work, Dedrick. You can't put that on the record. Yeah. Dedrick does put in work. But like the summer that we were quarantined here and we were doing most of our workouts in the garage, like when you could, you would be there with us, because obviously the social aspect kept you around. But like you were willing to put the time in to actually do the work with us. But for you, which is completely okay, because it's also that way for me a majority of the time, working out is about the people you're doing it with.
Yeah.
So if the people you're doing it with aren't around, it's a lot less appealing. And it's not like you play 2 hours of college volleyball every single day. It's not like you're not healthy.
Yeah.
So that's not a worry. But outside of your friends and just having these conversations, I know that your Nintendo Switch, and this isn't even a joke, man. Like, I know that Animal Crossing and Zelda and being able to come over and play Super Smash Bros., like, that got us through some tough times, and especially on your end, because being bored is, like, the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
The worst thing in the world. And then you're living in Camrose, Alberta, minus 30 outside. We're in the middle of a pandemic and can't go anywhere. So, I don't know, just speak to it. Video games are not for losers. I need to hear that be said.
I mean, you're right. I don't know how you want me to elaborate on that.
Let's go.
It was definitely helpful over Christmas when I got COVID on the 23rd and then had to isolate for the full 10 days because on my 10th day is when they released that you only have to isolate for 5.
Right.
So I would literally wake up at probably 10:30, open my laptop, play Pokemon all day, go to bed at night.
That's all you need.
And that's it. And you know what? It was pretty fun.
Yeah.
I'll say it.
Yeah.
Did not mind the 10 days of isolation.
Exactly. And everybody's got to have their own thing, right? The biggest thing is you can't judge anybody for it. Dedrick is an artisanal winemaker, and she goes crazy on the sticks. So we're going to leave it at that. And if you want to make fun of her for it, man, we'll have words. That's disrespectful. The only other thing that I wanted to ask you about is, this is a completely personal question and an observation that I have made. Okay. So I Googled these on Urban Dictionary, and I would like to know how you have so elegantly managed to walk the line of being a bruh girl, but also being a high girl. I'm pretty sure they defended,
What's a high girl?
What is the word I'm looking for? They defined it as, and it's that little face, the emoji with the little eyeballs. You know what I'm saying? So also, I'll show pictures so you guys understand the question I'm asking. But you can be both, Dedrick, and like I would like to know how that has been for you, because you know you're just very bubbly, you're very open, it's just an endearing personality for somebody to have. But also on the other side of it, like, you put in work when it comes to sports, you know. How has it been navigating your lifestyle?
It's been alright. I just don't like to put myself into like one box.
Exactly.
Like, I think that's boring to just have one thing, you know? Like, I don't want to just be an athlete, you know?
Yeah.
I want to do whatever makes me fucking happy. Sorry, am I allowed to swear?
Yes, you're allowed to do whatever you want. That's perfect. That's perfect. So, have you found throughout your life that people tried to label you or put you in these boxes, and that is something that you're trying to get out of as you grow? Because the only box that I would check off is that when you were in your soccer days, you looked like a boy because of your haircut, and that was super funny. But outside of that, I would have seen this child and said, "Oh, I would have said he. I'm not gonna lie.
Get it. It's fine." I got it a lot.
It's okay, Dedrick, it worked, but
it didn't work.
She had the opportunity to do whatever she wanted, and her potential was through the roof. So, like, did you see a lot of people growing up saying, you're going to be the volleyball player, or you're Dedrick's kid, you're going to be a basketball player, you're going to be X, Y, or Z?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I feel like that's something that just happens to everyone, you know, like, especially when you're at the age when you're trying to figure out who you are and like define yourself. Mm-hmm. It's so hard to just fall into the boxes that other people put you in rather than figuring it out for yourself. Right. And I think I fell into the boxes for a while. Like, even in high school, I was just the athlete. Even coming into university, like, I was just here to play volleyball, like nothing else. So it's been really fun to just, like, I knew I had other hobbies, obviously, other than being an athlete, but just because for so long that's all I thought I had. Right. It was fun to be able to explore and, I don't know,
develop the next stage of Sarah.
Exactly. And not just think of myself as like one-dimensional. Right. Be able to be like, yeah, I like a lot of things.
And that's good. Like, it's really good to see that you're willing to accept that now, because that's, like you said, something that everybody goes through. But in the schooling that I've been doing right now, like, it's just nice that other people around are making the realization that you have to support the people that you love in whatever they do. And as long as it's not dangerous and it's making them happy, then it's not our lives, right? So just be there for them when they need you, and that'll get repaid tenfold. I don't know. I just think it's good people, and I'm very glad to hear it. So, the last question, Dedrick, if you're ready. We are moving through this because Dedrick's mom, Angie, has a birthday today that is very, very important.
Well, it's on Wednesday, but it's her birthday dinner tonight.
Happy birthday, Angie. Happy birthday,
Mom.
Okay. So, the last question, Dedrick, has a time frame. Okay. So, in the last 6 months and then in the coming 6 months. For the last 6 months, is there anything that you're particularly thankful for? It didn't have to be anything life-changing, but something that you're particularly thankful for. And then in the coming 6 months of the stuff that you know that is going to happen, is there anything that you're worried about or that you're particularly dreading in terms of your life or just the world in general?
Okay, I'll start with the past 6 months. So, I'm thankful that I gave myself the opportunity to grow. Because I think I have been holding myself back, and in the past 6 months, I just feel like, I've really just been focusing on myself and doing things for myself, and it's just allowed me to grow as a person, like, love myself more, love the people around me more, love the world more, and I've always been a positive person, but recently I've just felt way more positive.
That's good.
Yeah. I'm also thankful for my roommates because I love my house, I love my roommates, and we've just been having the most fun this year, and I don't know if I would have been able to do any of this without them. So
Right.
very thankful for all of them.
Okay. Well, that's what this time is for, right? You're in your 20s. Our responsibility is to get educated if you're in university, or to make money if you have a job. But like, when it comes to your personality, you need to figure out who you are and what you enjoy and how to deal with your anxieties and your bad days and how to get through that. And I know that you've been afforded a lot more time to do that because the people that you live with are in that stage in their lives, and everybody's willing to support you through it, because at the end, hopefully, you'll have evolved into what you want to be when you leave Augustana. So that's very, very good. Have you found yourself doing anything particularly different in those 6 months? Like, I don't know. For me, there was a shift where probably 17 or 18, I stopped having to take other people to movies. I was just like, I fucking love going to the movies. I'm willing to go on my own to watch a movie. So has there been stuff that you're like, I'm going to do this for Dedrick, and it's just going to be me?
Well, that's exactly it. Like, now I've been way more comfortable doing things alone. And I like doing things alone. And, like, if you, like, obviously you knew me throughout the other years or you knew me in my past years, and I would, like, not want to go to the grocery store without anyone. I'm like, who wants to come out in public with me? Because I am not doing it by myself. But now, like, I value that time when I'm just vibing in my car, singing as loud as I want to whatever songs I want to. Like, I've been valuing time by myself a lot more than I ever have in the past. And I'm really enjoying just spending time with myself, and I make myself laugh all the time.
Which is huge, bro. Because honestly, the more you make yourself laugh, if you laugh at your own jokes, this is something I have learned. People have no choice to laugh. Because if they love you and they don't laugh, they're going to be sitting there like... And then you're going to feel bad, and the people that love you wouldn't do that.
Exactly.
So, but to be fair, Dedrick is actually mad funny. Like, you are one of the people who makes me laugh the hardest. And then when you and Nick get going, oh God, it's over. It's over. But I know that you don't seem to focus on the big scary things very much. And there isn't a lot coming up, because like you said, you have another year before graduation happens, which is super awesome because all the boys are graduating at the same time. So that's going to be awesome. You're not looking into anything particular when it comes to any crazy work, you know?
Yeah, not yet.
This is a question.
Okay.
For the summer, because I know you've been working at the visitor center.
For just the summer?
Yeah.
I really want to be a research assistant this summer.
Okay.
So I'm working on my application for that right now. I am wanting to work with Sean, like, more.
Yeah.
So he's a psych prof here.
Shout out Sean Moore.
Yeah, shout out to Sean. I don't know if I'm going to get it because because of budget cuts, they reduced the amount of research assistants at Augustana. So we'll see what happens. But honestly, I'm just going to apply, and if I get it, I get it. If I don't, I'll figure something else out. So
because you do have connections here, because you've been working here for a while,
exactly.
So that's good.
No matter what, I'll find a job. I'm not too stressed, but it'd be so fun to be a research assistant.
Yes.
So.
You got to speak it into existence, right? That's step number one. Well, honestly, Dedrick, the only thing that I want to say is that, like, being able to come back after this time, because I've been out of Augustana for probably 6 months now, and there's a lot of things that I miss dearly about this place, but the people are what made this place work. And the fact that you guys, like, are so welcoming to every new person that comes in, and you're willing to explore everything when it comes to people's religions, people's beliefs, you know. It's a very, very inclusive community, and I miss it a lot, but I'm happy to see that the people that are still here are just living the right way, in my opinion. So thank you, obviously, for being my friend these last however many years. But I don't know. It's just, I appreciate doing these things because, you know, it allows me to get to know my friends closer, but it shows other people that we're real, you know? Like, we have issues and life is not perfect.
Everyone's got issues.
But if you find the people that you love, you can get through the issues together, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So is there anything else you want to say to the people? Right off the dome. Dedrick, give me something. I don't care what it is. You can sing a song, bro. Start beatboxing.
I don't know if I'm going to start doing that. Honestly, I just think everyone should laugh a little more. That's what I'm going to say.
Fair enough.
That's my New Year's resolution, and that's it.
It makes life more light.
Yeah, it really does. Just and you know what? Be able to laugh at yourself.
That's huge.
Yeah, and like not when you make the funny jokes, like when you do something stupid. You got to be able to.
If you fall up the stairs, don't get embarrassed. Just turn around and say, "Look at me. My dumbass fell up the stairs."
Exactly. So that's all I got to say to the people.
And what I have to say to the people is thank you for sitting here with me and Dedrick for the last however long. This was a really good weekend, man. I got to sit down with 3 of my best friends, and hopefully you guys get to enjoy hearing from them. We all have very similar mentalities in some ways, and we're very different in other ways, so hopefully you guys learned something, and thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Look, no problem, Dedrick,
This
man.
was a lot of fun.
We just got to hang out.
I didn't get as nervous as I thought I did.
Okay, so that was the last goal, is I was going to check in. You were super nervous beforehand. Now that it's over, how are we feeling?
I'm feeling a little better. I think I might have talked a little fast during the podcast, because I normally do that when I'm nervous, but overall, I'm feeling good now.
Okay, so a little apologies if we sped right through it, but this is just who we are. You know, this is Dedrick's episode. It might just have to go a little quick. All right, thank you, Dedrick. See you guys later. Don't apologize. Oh my God, that was funny. Oh.